So, what does a healthy breakfast look like? I am Susan van Eden, health coach, and I will be sharing today how I actually make my own breakfast and what I love to do and put together that is actually a balanced plant-based breakfast, because we want to make sure that we've got all the components and that we get all the starches, the proteins, the fats, the fruits, everything that we need to make a balanced breakfast. So we're not going to eat everything that's on the table today. They are merely examples, but I'm going to show you what I do. I actually like quick and easy. People like different variations of a breakfast. I like to put everything in one bowl, in one go, eat what I need, and I'm off and I can do whatever I need to do in my busy day. Some people prefer to put like a grain bowl together, maybe with a smoothie, and have separate components. So this is just a guideline of what you should actually be having in your breakfast, and I will show you how I put my breakfast together. So I will start with the first component that you want in a breakfast is a healthy grain. And if you have looked at many of my previous videos, you will know that I actually put a big emphasis on whole grains, whole food. So we don't just want to buy food that is rolled. We actually want to buy the food in the whole food, in the original whole food form. So here we've got like the oat kernel, the original oat groats, and you will find that this is quite challenging to cook. It can take quite long, but what actually makes it much easier, if you soak it and you sprout it, and then I cook it in my instant pot, or you can cook it in a pressure cooker or in a slow cooker. Then I've also got here today quinoa that I'm going to use, which is a gluten-free grain, and I've got some activated buckwheat. There you can see the cooked quinoa that's already cooked. I actually made some lovely curry yesterday, so I actually have some left over for breakfast, just to make my life much easier and to make sure I get everything done. Here I've got some activated buckwheat seeds, and activated means I've actually already soaked them, sprouted them, dried them again, and they are actually very lovely. They're nice and crunchy actually to put over your bowl. So there's many other grains that you can add to it. You get millet, you get sorghum, you can even have brown rice, all depending where you are in your health. If I take people through a strict elimination phase of the protocol, I will put them on buckwheat and quinoa, and once their symptoms has stopped, then we'll start adding the other grains. So it all depends where you are in your health. If you are very healthy, relatively healthy, you can basically eat any of the grains, but try to rotate them. Don't eat every day in and out the same grains. Then very nice to have, I normally have my fruit for breakfast. I'm very hungry in the morning, very hungry, so I eat a lot in the morning. I eat also quite early, around 7 o'clock, because I have my last meal around 2 o'clock. Sometimes I'm flexible depending if you've got a wedding or if you've got friends over, I'll maybe postpone it to 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. I can't really eat later than that. But for my fruit, I always make sure that I've got some type of berry, because berries are so high in phytonutrients and antioxidants. Here I've got some mulberries, because I've got a huge mulberry tree, so when it's in season, obviously I eat a lot fresh, but then the extra ones I actually freeze, and then I can actually use it throughout the year. So I'm gonna have some of them. And then the blueberries, I buy these ones. I was fortunate to get organic blueberries. I actually bought them in Muizenberg at Organic Zone. So what I do is, it's quite a bit challenging sometimes to get, especially in South Africa. If I do get, I buy quite a few packets and I put them in the freezer, and then through the year I can actually eat them. But lovely blueberries is just an amazing fruit. Depending where you are in your health, if you are in the strict phase, we're going to stick to low glycemic fruit and your berries. Low glycemic is more like your green apples, your grapefruits, your berries, grenadillas, kiwis. It's those fruits. But if your health is generally very good, then you can basically go for any fruit. So we've got the carbs, we've got the fruit, then we're going to move over to our fats. If you've heard some of my previous videos, you would have heard that I don't do any processed oil. I eat my fats in the original form, like God created them in nature. So things that I would include, and I also vary them, is, and I also especially try to target omega-3 rich foods, which are your walnuts, are very high in omega-3s, and that is basically to reduce inflammation in your body. They're very good for brain health. So I would have a few every morning of them. I've already soaked them, activated them, dried them, and I put them in bags in the freezer ready to use. Just to make my life easier, like once a month I will do soak and sprouting of my nuts, and then maybe on another day in the month I would maybe do soak and sprout of my grains, so that I don't do everything on the same day. And if I do quite a substantial amount, I've got enough to use throughout the month. So the other two oily seeds that's very, very important that I make sure I get every day, apart from my walnuts, is either flaxseed and chia seed. And it's very important that you can eat flax seeds whole, but it's just going to go through your system. You actually need to mull this to get the benefit from it. And it's very rich in omega-3 oils and also chia. So I actually also rotate them. You can also eat them together. Another very good quality fat is your coconut. You can either eat like fresh coconut. These ones are actually dried. And make sure they don't have any preservatives in there. And then the other seeds that's also very important that I make sure that I get every day is either sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds, or maybe even both of them in combination. And then there's also other nuts that I use. I would just be filling this whole table if I had to put out all the foods that I actually eat. So there's different nuts that you can actually do. And as I always put the emphasis on, is rotate your foods that you eat. Don't eat every day everything, the same food in and out, because every food's got a different type of oil, a different type of nutrient. So if you're missing it with the one, you will get it with the other. These oily ones are also the ones that I actually make the nut milks from, not the chia and the flaxseed, but the pumpkin seeds and the sunflower seeds, your coconut, your nuts, any nuts. I'll actually just put the link to another video that I made, is how to make anti-inflammatory milks. This is the group that I actually make the milks from. And I've actually also, I didn't put it out here, but I already prepared my milk for today. I used some cashew nuts, and it's going to be in that video that I put the link in. It's just a quarter cup of whatever seed or nut you use and a cup of water, and you can blend it. And if you want it thicker, you just add less water or more nuts. So that's basically the main groups that I do. It's my starches, my fruit, and it's my seeds and my nuts, where I get my fats from, and I get my omega oils from. And then there's other interesting things that you can put, that you can add to your breakfast. I either add, I also use limited amounts of raw honey in my diet, not more than 1 teaspoon a day I would use. And I could also go for maybe, the nice thing about raw honey is that it's actually a prebiotic. So what that actually means is that my body actually converts it to a probiotic. So I don't do any supplements when it comes to probiotics, because I eat a lot of fruit and vegetables that's got natural occurring probiotics, but then I also take my honey. And then the other thing that I sometimes exchange it with is like my dates. Dates is amazing, and it's very high in fiber, so it's very healthy to take in your diet. Obviously also limited amounts. We don't want to take, even from the natural sugars, we don't want to take too much of it in our diet. Then other interesting things that I add is I have turmeric daily. I have carob, which is very high in your B vitamins, carob powder. So this is actually something that I buy. It is a whole food that's just mulled, so there's nothing is added. It's very lovely. I use it also as a replacement for cacao. I don't do any stimulants like coffees, English tea, green tea, cacaos, and I just found that my health actually improved a lot, so I use the carrot powder instead. Then I can also add, which actually gives it quite a nice flavor to your porridge, you can add a bit of cardamom powder, cumin. I've got the seeds here, so you can mill it. And I've got some coriander that I actually milled yesterday for the curry. And then I've got a lemon and garlic drink. One day I'll make a video with that, how I actually make that. I try to do that, not always, but I try to do it with most of my meals. It's just an easy way for me to actually get in raw garlic with a meal, because raw garlic's actually got a very sharp taste. And when I do drink that, I make sure that I drink it with a straw, because the acid in the lemon juice can actually damage the enamel of my teeth. Okay, so we're going to jump in it, and I'm going to show you, because I'm hungry, I'm going to show you how to get going with this. So first, I'm going to start with my apple, and I've already washed it. And just because it's a commercial apple, I actually peel it. You don't have to peel it. If it's organic apple, obviously it's better if you can get it organic, but where I live, I can't get organic apples. But if I do go into Cape Town and I'm lucky to find organic apples, I will definitely rather buy it, even if it's a bit more expensive. But I do the best we can, and that's why I always suggest do the best that you can, and you work with what you can buy, and you will probably still find that your health actually improves a lot. So apple is very rich in pectin, so it actually means that it actually binds with toxins, and we are all exposed to a lot of toxins every day. So I actually grate that just before eating, and you'll see I use the whole apple. I use the seeds, everything. That doesn't really bother me. Even since I was a child, I would eat the whole apple just because I was too lazy to go back and throw the inner part away. Okay, so you don't have to do it in this sequence. My sequence might also change every day. Okay, the next step is that I'm going to mill my flaxseed. As I've showed you previously, I use, it's actually a coffee grinder, but I don't use it for coffee. I use it to mill my seeds, which is quite nice because you can mill a small amount and you can mill it just before eating. The best is actually to mill it fresh and to eat it, because it's high in omega-3 oils, and it's actually very sensitive to light, to oxygen. But if you want to mill a bigger amount, just put it in a jar, glass jar, immediately into the freezer, and you can keep it there. So I'm just going to mill it now, and you'll see how quick it actually goes. We also don't want to over mill it, because we don't want to build up heat, because heat will also destroy the sensitive oils. But just see how lovely this is. I'm in my menopause, so I take 4 tablespoons of flaxseed. A little bit more. Then I'm going to close it immediately. And then you can start basically whichever way you like. Today I'm going to add in my quinoa, depending how big your appetite is. You can decide how much you want. And this quinoa was also soaked before cooking. That is just basically to make it more digestible, and also to get rid of the anti-nutrients that's in the grains. It just basically means it's more digestible, and the anti-nutrients can actually make that your body can't access the other food that you're eating, the nutrients from the other food. So because my page, I mainly focus on people with inflammation, we want to do everything possible to reduce inflammation. So that's why there's a big emphasis on soaking and sprouting. Okay, so I've got that now. Now I can decide what I want to do next, maybe some more fruit. So I'm gonna, today I'll combine the mulberries and the blueberries. Mulberry tree is really an easy grower. I can encourage everybody to plant a mulberry tree. It's one of the easiest trees that will grow and you can harvest a lot. Then I'm going to add some of the blueberries. You can see this is ending up, I eat quite a big bowl in the morning. So that's basically my fruit for the morning. And these are just examples, but I've basically got 3 portions of fruit in here, which is enough for today. Okay, now I'm going to layer, I make sure I use, this turmeric is actually from Good Life Organic. This is quite a strong one. This is the plus one. So I'm just going to do 1 teaspoon. Now this is something that you have to get used to. You don't have to put it in your porridge. But I've been doing it now for a very long time. Initially I started with a 1/4 teaspoon because that I could handle, and then over a period of many weeks till I was ready, I actually increased it. Initially started with a 1/4 teaspoon, then a 1/2 teaspoon, then a 3/4, then 1, and then from the normal organic turmeric I normally use 2 teaspoons, that's 10 ml, but with the plus I just go for 1. But what I can tell you is that definitely I can get away with not all my food being organic, but the turmeric I would definitely advise to make sure that you get organic turmeric. I definitely have a problem if it's not organic. I definitely get pressure on my head again, and it's something that I battled with in the past. I know I have a lot of still heavy metals. A lot of people also do, but there's a lot of heavy metal contamination also in the turmeric. So then next I would add some carrot. The carrot is actually lovely. It's got a chocolatey taste. So I put 2 tablespoons in. You can see I don't really measure anymore because I know I've been doing this for so long. So there's my 2 tablespoons. And then when it comes to the spices, you're obviously not going to use a lot, especially cardamon's got a very strong, it's just a little bit of a sprinkle. And then you can decide, I'll put a bit of coriander. I just love the smell of this. I've got that. And then I will do my my milk. This is the cashew milk. So the flaxseed, it will take up a bit of the milk. We don't want to add too much milk. We don't want too much liquid with our food, because what happens is that the liquids actually dilute our digestive enzymes, and it actually slows the digestive process. So we don't want actually that, because that can cause fermentation in your gut and it extends the whole cycle. So we want minimal liquids with our meals. The golden rule, except for, this is not all that I drink. I drink that small tot, but I normally start before breakfast, half an hour before a meal. I stop drinking any liquid, and then I wait 2 hours after a meal. Then I only drink again. So we've got the grains, we've got the fruit. I can add a bit of the sweetener. The sweetener, you can also put the sweetener in your milk. If you blend your milk, I can feel this honey is a bit thick. You can see now it's a bit of a thick honey, but it doesn't matter because I can mix it in afterwards. So I'm just going to add a bit more milk here. It looks a bit dry. And then I actually add, because my nuts and my seeds is actually my protein. So I'm going to add a few. Because it is quite nice when you put something crunchy on top of it, because that also forces you to chew a bit. I'm still working on the chewing, because that's something most people, we eat too fast, and we're not chewing our food till a pulp. So there I've got some nice color, and I've got some, I'm going to put some sprinkles of this. The activated buckwheat is actually very, very nice. And there you've got your lovely breakfast bowl. Doesn't that look delicious? So as I say, really this Instant Pot is really a game changer for me. Making curries, and especially the hardy grains, such a wonderful piece of equipment. I can also, this is really something that I would, if I have to go back, redo it And I've shared before that I bought a lot of appliances, and this would definitely, my blender, definitely, this is definitely something that I would buy again. This is a lovely piece of equipment. It's also a rice cooker, a grain cooker, it's a steamer, you can bake in it, you can do a lot. And then this is quite handy to have something like this, especially for your soaking and sprouting. I'm not going to go into too much detail today because this video is not about the soaking and sprouting. I will in the future make a video specifically about that. Today is just to show you how I actually put my breakfast together, but this comes in very handy when you do soaking and sprouting, because I would soak my grain, depending how much it is, I would soak it in this bowl, and then afterwards, after 8 to 12 hours, I will actually put it through this, then I would rinse it in this sieve. It just makes it so much easier, especially when you work with like a more slimy grain like buckwheat. Rinse it. I rinse it with tap water, then I rinse it with clean filtered water, then it actually stays in this bowl. I just cover it with a cloth, and then it can actually sprout for the next 8 to 12 hours. So that's basically it. I really hope you enjoyed being in my kitchen today, seeing actually how I put my breakfast together. Next week I'll be sharing a new video. If you don't see it up here, just come back within a few days. By next week it will be up. I will be showing you how I put together a basic lunch. And I hope you find this very informative. Like and subscribe if you would like to stay tuned to this channel, and have a healthy, happy day.